Long days and pleasant nights, everyone. I have the good fortune to have a YouTube channel that's reasonably popular, and through that process I've deduced some rules and tips over the last couple of years that I think would be helpful for aspiring video makers. And since now there are so many more videographers than there were a couple of years ago, I thought I'd make this to share my experience on the topic. Now that recording methods are more accessible, making Monster Hunter videos isn't the arcane science it once was, and there are literally hundreds of thousands of Monster Hunter videos. Making yours stand out and giving people a reason to watch them is becoming an art unto itself, and it's this art that I want to offer some advice on. While there are no shortcuts here, this is the process that I've used on my own channel successfully. Note that not everything that I do or suggest will work for you. You have to think critically about your own strengths and weaknesses as a player and a video maker, and you have to work to those. This guide is divided up into sections which should make chronological sense for progressing through this process, and it covers construction of your channel, technical details about recording and software, editing, and promotion of your work. So without further ado, here are my pearls of wisdom and hoary old chestnuts from the last couple of years. Firstly, branding your channel. This is the most important thing that you will do. What's your thing? Are you a great sword master? Do you only do videos in which you lance charge monsters to death? Do you only use joke weapons? Purely go for speedruns? Ideally, you want people to know what your channel is all about right away so it sticks in their mind easier. Have something that leaves a lasting impression in their mind. Don't make them ask, so what are you all about? Or, so why should I watch your channel? My videos are a pretty obvious example of branding. While I do branch out from time to time, my name is pretty much synonymous with bowgun videos. People expect that when they see my YouTube channel. What do you want people to think when they hear your name? Take some time to work that out and then advertise yourself as you want to be seen. Are you Mr. Lance? Then label your channel as Nigel's Lance Emporium or something similar. Given that there are now thousands of video makers for the game, you need to find ways to make yourself stand out. You don't need to worry about pigeonholing yourself too much, although it is something you'll need to be aware of in the long term. If you have an existing YouTube channel, consider making a new one for videos if your username is something pretty sophomoric like xxdeath_killer_legend_996xx. You don't have to, but in general self-bestowed titles don't tend to work so well, so Slayer or Lord or Demon King or something like that. Consider making a name which is a Monster Hunter reference. You could pick a weapon name like Chrome Deathrazor, say, so that Monster Hunter players are clued in right away to your channel. If you establish easy connections like this, you're more likely to get clicked on. If your username makes you look like a 12-year-old Call of Duty player, it's less likely to get clicked on. That might sound petty, but it's the truth. This will be the major factor about whether your channel does well or remains reasonably unknown. Picking a good brand early on and being good at it is absolutely crucial. If you're an average player, but you have a gift for explaining things, work to that. If you mangle language, but you're a speedrunning demon, understand that and play to your strengths. Don't be afraid to shamelessly borrow and steal from channels that you admire, or ask for tips or suggestions from video makers you like. Lord knows I have. Now, clans or teams in terms of your branding are a divisive issue. I really enjoy watching multiplayer videos, and I know a lot of other people do, and I especially enjoy watching coordinated teams of people. Not so much as when I see teams of 3 or 4 guys flash spamming and then beating something to death that can't move. Unless you've made it very clear that you're going for maximum kill speed and you're not out to do skill runs. People do react badly to the clan idea in Monster Hunter, especially if you're the Dark Dragon Bloodslayer Lords of Death Killing and if you have ranks. However, if you're a team of guys who are coordinated, like perhaps a status gunner, a damage gunner, a hammer user for KOs, and perhaps a longsword user going for trips, that's great, and you should brand your team. But don't go overboard with it unless you're really, really confident your team has that mysterious cool factor to pull it off. Clans with ranks, as opposed to roles within a team, will always attract negative attention, and you have to be aware of that. It can be a lot of work, but a theme team is actually a really cool idea. Maybe you all use hammer. Maybe you all use sword and shield. Maybe you all wear certain armor, or maybe you have themed names. Imagine watching 4 guys called Death, Famine, Pestilence, and War. That'd be pretty cool. 4 guys coordinated taking on a 2-monster simultaneous quest would also be a really cool video, and I don't think I've seen it before. Just make sure that all the players are committed to the long haul, or at least committed to a series of 4 videos or something. You don't want to have one of those channels where you've got one video with 4 guys, and then from there on, it's just Famine playing by himself. The most common request I get for new videos is, seriously, new Lobster Boys videos. Do with that information what you will. Once you picked a brand, and seriously, take a while to do this and have a serious think about it. Once you've done that, you'll need to get into the mechanics of editing. Editing and recording software. I use Windows Movie Maker exclusively because I can't afford Sony Vegas, and yes, I do know that there are ways to get around buying it. The Movie Maker is a flexible tool that's easy to use and so straightforward that any idiot like me can use it. All the editing and effects you see in my videos are done in Windows Movie Maker. It should be standard on your Windows computer already, otherwise it's a free download. I record using Remote Joy Lite. My version is 0.16, though I understand it's up to 0.19 now. Head up Google for details on installation, etc. It's been a long time since I did mine and I'm not an expert on it. I use Remote Joy Lite's built-in recorder and record in around 75 out of 100 quality, using the default Microsoft codec. I do end up with big files. It's about 100 megs per minute for the raw video size. You can also use the Fraps recorder or the DivX codec, but in my experience, my Vista computer doesn't really handle them very well, and the built-in recorder works better. If you're using a different OS, then you might get different results, so your mileage may vary, and I suggest that you try other things if you're not happy with the built-in recorder. Now, there are ways to record with official firmware, such as HD PVR recording. Basically, you link up your PSP to your TV, and then use a hard drive to record the picture on your TV screen. I'm not very familiar with this method, so I can't advise, sorry, but as always, Google is your friend. When I publish, it's in one of two qualities. I use 3.0 megs a second, which is listed in Windows Movie Maker as DVD quality, for long files to keep the size down so uploading isn't quite so painful. You can see this quality in action in my Last Supper guide video. The one I use when I can afford to is 5.9 megs a second quality, as this means that the videos are in high definition, HD. You end up with large files, around 50 megs a minute ultimately, but the quality works great, and you can see this on my Jeweled Sword Compendium 3rd Rathian video. On my oldest videos, I use 1.0 megs a second (VHS) quality. This leads to very fast uploads, and the quality was watchable. I don't recommend it for most users, but if you live in an area with a poor internet connection, then consider it. So once you know who you want to be seen to be, and how you're going to do it, you need a plan for the videos, knowing what you'll upload. Once you have your channel brand clear in your head and the recording gear working, make an upload schedule. It can just be in your head or on a napkin or something like that. Work out how much time and energy you have for your channel and be realistic and plan accordingly. So many channels end up with 2 or 3 uploads in the first week and then nothing afterwards. If you're out for people to subscribe to you, you do need a level of consistency. It can be a monthly upload, a daily one, whatever. Just make sure that you're clear on the commitment it takes beforehand. That's not to say you can't deviate from it, but people will tend to subscribe to channels that are established, so they've been around for a while, and ongoing, which means that they can see it's worth subscribing to you because you're going to post new stuff. Planning is also really important when it comes to making videos, because if you just sit down at your computer then it's easy to have no idea what to record. This is where a guided recording schedule like a Let's Play is really good, because the game offers a natural progression that you can follow. Do try and establish something new though, because there are a lot of Let's Play videos around and the key is to stand out. If you're going to do one, you need to have a gimmick that makes yours unique. Are you going to do voice commentary? Make a Let's Play with no armor? Maybe it's a running comedy sketch. You could even borrow ideas from film and make your entire series black and white with swing music. Instant M8 Monster Hunter Noir. So, you've got your recording sussed, you know your brand, and you've got a schedule. How do you put that all together? Tying your videos to your brand. Once you have your brand and a rough schedule sorted, you can do a lot of reasonably easy things to make your channel look professional. A short intro video works wonders, and it's especially good for reinforcing your brand. You can take a really simple route and have a picture that you like with your name over the top. With some dramatic music and a good font and picture choice, this can be a quick and effective strategy with minimal effort outlay. This is good for newer video makers who aren't that confident with their video editing tools, and you can see this in my early videos like my Dual Volganos video. A more involved method is to take some short clips of you doing your thing, again, in whatever playstyle is your brand is best, splice them together, add some music over the top, and chuck some text on too. And another option, and this is one that I tend to use recently, is to record the in-game cinematics and then spend some time splicing them with audio tracks you like. Don't be afraid to edit the clip. Add effects like grayscale, speed it up, slow it down, add text over the top, go nuts. Do think about the effect that you're going for though, since effects are like spice. A little bit is cool, a bit more some good forethought is amazing, but too much and it's quickly overkill. When doing text subtitles, make sure that you've chosen a font and colour that can easily be read. If your clip under the text is brightly coloured or moves very fast, consider adding a blur to it or making it black and white so the text stands out easier. Make sure your intro isn't too long. 8 to 13 seconds is a good length. You'll probably need to edit your music a bit so it makes sense too, since an 8-second soundbite from the intro to a song can be a little bit odd. You can grab 8 seconds of the guitar solo of something and maybe add a fade in and a fade out to it. Show your friends and see what they think. And if they think it's cool, great, others probably will as well. If they think it's lame, chances are pretty good that other people think it sucks too. Text and language is important for linking to your brand, and aesthetics, which is a fancy word for how stuff looks, is really big too. My name, for example, I spell it all with either all capitals or all lowercase, even though I'm a grammar nerd. This is because the letters have a low profile, which in my opinion is visually ruined by an uppercase M, even though it's correct to use for a proper noun. So consider how your channel name looks and how it's printed, not just what it means. Does it sound cool when you say it? Does it look good in print? Have you chosen a font that supports the look you're going for? Things to avoid are fonts that people hate or are sick of, like Papyrus or Comic Sans, unless, of course, you're using them for comedic effect, or capitalizing every second letter of your name. Don't do that, because it immediately sends a signal about your competence, rightly or wrongly. And language is important as well. Speaking personally, I value solid writing skills and communication. If I see a typo in a video name, 9 times out of 10, I don't open that video. Proper syntax on the internet does still matter, believe it or not. Right, you've got a kick-ass brand, an intro clip that brings all the boys to the yard, and you've got your upload schedule sorted. What now?